Why are you beating cops up? What's wrong with you?
This migrant crisis is getting out of hand. In New York, a couple of migrants just attacked two police officers. That's insane. We got to take a look at this report.
Verbal on life. Verbal on life.
My name is Noel. Welcome to Verbal on Life. And thank you for joining us. We got to talk about this. And let's see if people still continue to vote blue, no matter who.
We begin tonight with a disturbing crime caught on camera showing a group of people punching and kicking two NYPD officers in Times Square over the weekend. So far, 5 arrests have been made, but 4 of those suspects have already been released on bail. Well, Ashley Rodriguez is live in Times Square with how police are responding to this disturbing incident and what we're learning about those responsible. Ashley, that video just appalling.
Absolutely. And police say it was up to 12 men that attacked 2 officers. Now, law enforcement officials say that these men were migrants. These are supposed asylum seekers. And police say if they were brazen enough to attack 2 uniformed officers, there's no telling what they'd be willing to do to the average citizen. And the city allowed them to go free.
By the way, let me just say, that's insane. 12 men attacking 2 police officers. Like, okay, I grew up in Harlem, like a really bad neighborhood. And going up against a police officer was just unthinkable because this is the law. And these are armed men. And you always hear like news reports of police mistakenly or fighting somebody and then shooting somebody and killing them. And here are these illegal immigrants. Shout out to those cops who were patient enough to just try their best. But I mean, against 12 men, not a fair fight.
You saw the video. Reprehensible. Cowards.
The NYPD reacting to surveillance video taken from West 42nd Street in Times Square around 8:30 Saturday night. Police say a group of up to 12 men was being disorderly. 2 officers told them to move along. The gang looks like they're going to comply, but when the officers try to take one uncooperative man in a yellow shirt into custody, around 7 others surround them, punching and kicking the officers in the head and in the body while they are on the ground.
First, for our cops, I'm proud of what they try to do. They stayed in the fight, but 8-on-2 is hard to combat. They got bumps, bruises, and scratches and pain.
Eventually, officers were able to find and arrest 4 of the gang. A 5th was arrested Monday. But once cops brought them in, bail reform laws allowed them to go free, something that most likely wouldn't have happened in their home countries, according to the NYPD.
Again, consequences for your actions. They should be sitting in Rikers. They should have been indicted this week and have their day in court and go to jail.
Police sources add that it's the gang of 19 to 24-year-olds who barely just arrived in the city and may have been staying at the nearby migrant shelters in Times Square. Some have reportedly already racked up charges for assault and robbery, but were released then too. If those arrested for this assault on police do come back on their own recognizance, they face felony charges that carry a penalty of up to 7 years.
You want to know why our cops are getting assaulted? There's no consequences. And we must change this. End of story.
So again, this is an open and active investigation. As I mentioned, police believe that up to 12 men were involved. So far, only 5 have been arrested. So they are looking for the other 7. The DA is also investigating, and thankfully, the officers will be okay. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, very upsetting there, Ashley. Thanks.
Arrested and released. That's insane. Like, just growing up and just being a citizen, let this sink in. Being a citizen of the United States, you know if you fight a police officer, you're going to be facing some jail time. This is like worst case scenario. And look at these guys, they're just letting them go. We are living in some crazy times. Leave your comments below because, oh my God, I'm just shocked. But you know what? There should be a wake-up call that all the immigrants coming in, like, what are we doing? These are like, if you're fighting a police officer, I'm sorry, but these are criminals. And you just heard the lady say that they got previous arrest records. Like, these are not just regular people looking for work. Some of these guys are criminals with criminal records. But I'm just stunned. To me, like, fighting a police officer is the worst case scenario. As a citizen, as an American, you fight a police officer, that goes in your record. You're probably going to go to jail for a long time. As you should. That's like the worst case scenario of fighting a police officer. But yet, these illegal migrants, they just get processed. And you just heard him up to 12, but only 4 get booked and then released. Oh my God. Worst case scenario. You know better than to fight a police officer. And everybody who does, like, that's major news. They get arrested. You get a criminal record. You know, what criminal record are these immigrants are going to get? Illegal immigrants. You know?
Safety concerns tonight for migrants after a man was stabbed to death at the migrant shelter on Randall's Island, and 2 other migrants were arrested in a separate incident.
Police say a man in his 20s was stabbed in the chest. He was taken to a hospital where he died. A male suspect is in police custody. Investigators say it started with a dispute inside the cafeteria at the shelter.
At the end of the day, worst case scenario.
Mayor Adams laying out budget cuts across every city agency, from libraries to schools and even the NYPD.
And no surprise, he's blaming the cuts on the migrant crisis.
City Hall officials announced they are enacting around $4 billion in budget cuts over the next year and a half that will cancel the hiring of new police officers, slash the education budget by $1 billion, and close libraries on Sundays. City officials say this is all due to the migrant crisis, and without additional federal aid, these cuts will only continue to grow.
I'm just shocked by the whole situation. Now, what's going to happen to these guys? Do you think they're going to stop committing crimes? That they're just going to start obeying the law after they just saw that you could fight a police officer and they let you go? They just brought them in for processing and then letting them out? How many times? How many times are you going to be letting these guys out?
As the mayor of the city of New York, I don't, weigh into immigration issues, border issues. I have to provide services for families that are here, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what our responsibility as a city. I'm proud that this is a right to shelter state, and we're going to continue to do that. And New York is a city that has always represented the democratic values and the values of our city of showing our compassion. And that's what we're doing today.
When do you say, okay, we have to give these guys times or deport them? And by the way, New York City is a sanctuary city.
Driven by bus and fueled by politics, another wave of migrants arrived in New York City today.
Merecemos una oportunidad.
More than 4,000 have come since May, a metaphorical message from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. New York's mayor is furious, saying shelters are already overrun.
Placing on the bus with no direction to come here.
But tonight, Abbott is adamant border states are done shouldering America's immigration crisis after May saw a record 239,000 illegal crossings. The governor slammed President Biden Friday for refusing to do his job and called New York a sanctuary city, the ideal destination for migrants.
I think New York State is a sanctuary state where even if the federal government wants to deport them, it doesn't. Because New York decided to just, we're going to take care of these guys, we're going to feed them, give them health insurance, give them education, shelter, give them everything. Allegedly. Just help people out. But it's not working. Shout out to Greg Abbott.
A madman down in Texas decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City. 110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. And this team here, we stated, let's do everything possible before we have to push it out into neighborhoods and communities. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life Have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to? I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City.
That's the state governor of Texas who's just sending in buses, boatloads of buses. And Trump said it. You want to be a sanctuary city? Okay, here you go. Check this video out.
They want more people in their sanctuary cities. Well, we'll give them more people. We can give them a lot. We can give them an unlimited supply. And let's see if they're so happy. They say we have open arms. They're always saying they have open arms. Let's see if they have open arms.
Trump is the man. But Trump 2024. Let's go. But I'm going to leave it right there. If you watch this long in the video, go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel and make people more aware of what's going on. And shout out to those police officers who stood their ground and was able to find all those men. Scary situation. It's a tough job, but like they say, somebody got to do it. Unfortunately, you got to deal with those migrants who are just breaking the law. Peace.
Verbal on life.
10,000 migrants a month. This is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis. And we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City.